Here we are, 9 a.m. Sunday morning in Brisbane after a much smoother flight this morning, to say the least. Before we get into any horse racing analysis, and there'll be plenty, there's plenty to unpack, but we have some strongly worded feedback for the good people of Virgin.
Good people. Mate, I was this close to getting Richard on the phone. Mr. Branson. Yeah, it's Declan Jones. Yep, that podcast. Mate, I am absolutely filthy with the service that we've had from your staff at Brisbane Airport. Our flight's been delayed a couple of hours with absolutely no word as to why. Yeah, I know we got free piss in the lounge. I know that. That's not good enough, mate. That's the minimum that we deserve. Yeah, we finally got on the tarmac, and some dill decided to throw up everywhere. And because of him, we couldn't take off. It was another hour until we finally got in the air. I thought we were never going to get to Melbourne, Richard. Okay, I'll call you Dick. It wasn't a good start, was it?
We were fuming because we were due to get down there around, I don't know, 4, 5. What time did we get to the hotel? Like 8?
Yeah.
So, daylight savings, but we got to the airport at 11:30 or 11:30 or so. So it was like an 8-hour transit.
And it didn't need to
for
be.
a 2-hour flight.
It didn't need to be.
We were fuming.
We were furious.
So we missed the first, 3 or 4 races?
4 races.
At Moonee Valley on Friday night.
Dickie Branson's saving grace was the fact that those first few races at the Valley on Friday night were absolute dross. Pure dross.
Definition of dross.
But we still would like the opportunity to at least see them in the yard. So if we wanted to, gamble responsibly.
Well, of course, all right, which one looks fast? Because the rail's on and it's a leader bias. Sure. I can see that.
We can pick them out of the yard, can't we?
Yes, mate. Yeah, we can.
Yeah. So that was Friday night. Look, we did eventually get there, though, for the main event, the Moonee Valley Gold Cup.
Yeah, we did.
Jeez, it'd be hard to find the winner of that race at double figures.
Look, and this is the...
No, cook. You can cook.
I can cook.
Actually, don't cook. Cut it raw. Sashimi.
Fajita sushi. So we blew past Francesco Guardi in the preview. We
did not understand.
No. Zero thought on that horse. It blew our mind because, I'm sure you guys are aware because we do this podcast so early. The odds don't actually come out sometimes. So it's like, I was shocked to find out days after we'd done this preview podcast that Francesco Guardi was the favourite of this race. It defied logic. I'm like, okay, well, there is zero chance I'm taking something at single figure odds here. Zero. And the other thing that is tough with the timing that we do our podcast as well is like, there's time for our thoughts to marinate, and you actually can do the form of the race a little bit more in depth. So it's like we prioritize races, right?
Yeah.
So obviously like the Cox Plate, and the ones that we do in more depth, we typically have, in our view, probably a stronger hold on. With all due respect to the Moonee Valley Gold Cup, we probably didn't have that much time to really go into that much depth.
No.
But the more I was thinking about it, I was like, well, Kita Sushi only gets really warm from 2,500 or further. Just Fine is going to go nuts out in front with Serpentine. I think that's going to suit him because he has zero turn of foot.
Just a grinder.
He's a grinder. And he was ridden on pace last start. I think he'll run a great race. And he did. And if you check my Ned's profile, it will reflect as much. So it was a sensational start after a rocky start.
It was a rocky start. And there was other factors at play outside of just the flight.
Yeah. Oh, my God.
To Melbourne, which we don't need to go into at all.
No. Let's put it this way. Like, I might be out of office, but I'm always on. On Friday and Saturday, it would behold.
The only day that we have off each week, though, is Sunday.
I'd say so.
We're working on Saturday.
No, half Sunday. Because we do this.
Oh, of course.
This is Sunday right now. We
We
work
ha-
7 days a week, mate.
There's a few men. There's one man in particular who we're a big fan of, who works harder than us, Jason Richardson.
Of course he does.
Racing.com, 7 Olympics.
Of what's your bank balance fame?
Would be fascinating
It
to
would
know
be-
what his wicket is.
It would be immense. Immense.
He'd have a better wicket than the 2006 Adelaide deck in Australia versus England.
Wasn't that refreshing? Just to watch those replays at 11 p.m. at night. After a taxing day of transit, just to put that on at Quest at Moonee Valley, right across from the track, a sensational play by us.
It was. Look, Crown Casino was on the phone to Richard Branson saying, like, where are they? We were expecting them to be here Friday night. We've reserved.
The succulent Chinese meal is getting cold.
We've reserved a table of high stakes Caribbean stud put specifically for the two of them. Where are they, Richard? So Richard's trying to get hold of us, and we said, "Mate, we're poofed because of you.
Yeah.
We could have been at the casino.
Yeah, we
We were poofed.
had 0 left in the tank.
Zero. And I was walking around like
Oh my god!
like a man who's wheelchair bound. With all due respect,
Yeah.
I'm not an ableist.
No.
With all due respect,
yeah.
I was defeated.
You were struggling.
I was. I wasn't a victim about it.
Mate, a game of dodgeball will do that to far greater men than you.
I couldn't believe how cooked I was. Oh,
So, yeah. Akita Sushi and the 2006-2007 Ashes highlights at the Quest Hotel were
it
clearly
lifted
the
spirits.
highlights,
It
yeah.
lifted spirits. That's for
Yeah.
sure. That's for sure. Jeez, that was a good team.
Yeah. So then we get to Saturday. Taking some phone calls that I will not go into at all because, yeah, it's a real test of your mental fortitude, I guess.
Absolutely. And you need clarity as well.
Yeah.
Particularly when there might be other factors that could lead to inebriation, which might impact clarity. When you have a big day like the Cox Plate, and I tell you what, it was a bad day to be. 2 things yesterday in Melbourne: a bookie,
Yep.
and a beer.
Yeah. Because Melbourne turned it on.
It really turned it on. It was fantastic.
I don't think Melbourne, the city of Melbourne, this is.
Yeah.
Like, not the people, the city.
Yeah.
I don't think it understands temperatures because it was
No, it
like
doesn't.
10 degrees, apparently, but it felt like 20. And I'm
Yeah.
like, what am I doing wearing this jacket right now?
And the prior night, it was like 8 degrees. Felt like it was -1.
Yeah, my nuts were about to freeze.
My nuts were also well and truly up within my body. It was that cold. But look, yeah, Saturday morning, breakfast was delicious. It laid a good foundation for what was, we had to go to work.
Yes.
We had a big shift, and look, suffice to say, we did some damage.
Well, your dad's tipped the card at Moonee Valley between us.
Yeah.
You hear that?
Uh-huh.
Now, you might say, hey, neither of you had Via Sistina on top. We will get to how we've justified this, all right? Now, there was some comments, some cheeky comments, when we posted that succulent Chinese meal Democracy Manifest post on our Instagram stories.
Uh-huh. It was delightful, by the way.
There was a comment saying, you boys should be eating some mee goreng based on how the Sydney Source and the Victorian Victim tipped. Now, let me just give you a little bit of a lesson here. Because this is a team sport. And we were chopping and changing between. We were taking the Sydney Source and Victorian Victims tips into account, but it wasn't necessarily the final decision.
Absolutely not.
So, after getting Akita sashimi on the Friday night, you kick things off with Acromantula at 13-1 in the first.
Easy watch as well.
How can things go wrong?
It was the easiest watch too.
It was sensational.
It was simple. Looked phenomenal in the yard. He was playing up a little bit, but he looked great.
He only played up when the jock got on. It's like, and for a sprinter, I don't mind that. So we looked at every single horse in every single yard. I thought Acromantula, given he had a 2 or 3 month gap in between runs, he looked the fittest horse in the yard. His coat looked sensational. Lindsay Park are just so elite at getting their horses ready.
They really are. Adds a length or two to them. And both of us were not keen on Katsu, despite everyone being keen on Katsu. Guess where it ran?
5th. 5.5 lengths last.
Dead last.
Because, as I said after the race, we're more Karage chicken guys.
Absolutely we are.
Chicken.
Mate, I'm just, call me old-fashioned. I just want some K-fry.
Yeah. Fried chicken.
Yeah.
They might get a touch-up today. The Red Anchor Stakes was race 2, Group 3 at 1,200 metres. Bit of creek.
Wait a second. If the victim had a terrible day, how's he tipping a $7.50 thing in the second race? How's he doing that if he's having a terrible day? Oh. And it was an easy watch as well.
Yeah.
Benny Allen on.
There was a few horses yesterday, right, that we were definitely talking about on the podcast, right? We talked about Bizzusto. I was keen on Winner's Edge. I followed through with that, and he kind of blew out a bit. I think it might be a bit too early for him at this type of grade, but he only lost by a length, so I think he's run pretty well.
He's run super.
Bizzusto, and there was some horses across the day that I was like, yeah, this horse has a great winning chance. I got cold feet real quick.
I was keen on Bizzusto during the week, but again, we go super early. I was looking at the form without prices there. And when Bo's $3, I'm like, I don't like him at that price, bro.
No.
I like Bit of Creek.
Yeah. Well done.
And he duly saluted.
Yeah. Now, the Crockett Stakes. This was a tough dog shit race. And we said as much. And we needed to do more form on it. Now, the victim did more form and he found the winner. Sure, 250, but it's a single to fine leg and you turn the strike over. Sorry, that's 3 from 3.
3 from 3.
Sorry, 1, 2, 3.
And at this stage, we only had one hand available to count.
Yes.
At this stage?
Yeah, at this stage. So 3 from 3, certain rise gets the job done. Race 4. Now, the Phillies Classic. I kicked up for Cavity Bay from that Hill Stakes form from Morfettville. Great to see the Divas Silks.
Yeah, phenomenal.
IRL.
With Mark.
Yeah, with Mark on. But the one that we missed in the preview podcast, but we warned to
I mentioned it
significantly
in the preview podcast.
Did you?
I did.
Okay, very well done by you. Double Market. This is a filly who I think is very progressive. I think she'll only get better out in distance.
Look at the sire.
Oh, fuck yeah.
He's Castelvecchio. He's gone Group 2, and we'll get to it later, Group 1 within a couple of hours. On the rise, baby.
Yeah,
on the rise.
And we need to put his penis into cotton wool because the Autumn Suns is broken.
It is broken.
So he's got a very important piece, Castelvecchio. Double Market was very smart. And yeah, again, if you looked at the profiles, you would have seen it.
1, 2, 3, 4 on the bounce.
4 on the bounce. Now, Kingswood goes very close to win this regardless. This was a farcically run race, and we'll get into the times more so when we unpack the Cox Plate. But 2,040 metres, the JRA Cup, Future History, pretty much walked in front and made it mathematically impossible for anything to beat him. I said it. I thought Future History was a nice little bet here.
You said that on the podcast with Kingswood still in the field.
Exactly. I said I'm going to forgive. So with Kingsman out at 320 was a gift.
Did the victim have a bet? The victim had to put a bet in. Had to submit something.
Yeah.
It was 15-1.
Yeah.
So let me just count. I'm running out of room. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 on the bounce.
5 on the bounce. Love that. Now, the Vars. Moonee Valley Vars. So, I was keen on Politely Done. He ran okay. 7 runs in your first prep's difficult. But Red Aces was for lack of a better word, gritty. And he won.
He was asked to be gritty, and he was gritty. One for the good guys. Look, the victim thought to himself, he was scratched at the barriers last week at Caulfield, and the trainer Nick Ryan could be heard during the week saying, "Look, that's probably a blessing in disguise for my horse. He needs this run because he's heading to the Derby, but I think he's a terrific winning chance.
Yeah, and he was.
And Nick Ryan is in some good form at the moment.
He is, mate. He got Prince Albert on Friday night, who looked sensational in the yard. His horses look really good in the yard.
They do.
He gets them rock hard.
He does.
So, Red Aces look super. Politely Done looked a bit plain, to be honest. The rest of these, I thought, Red Aces was definitely like one of the best in the yard. This Derby is going to be, and we'll go into it at the end, but like that market is going to be ridiculously difficult.
Yep.
Okay, so we run our room here.
Yeah,
so
1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
6.
6.
All right. Okay, so you're keeping track. Right. Now, here we go. Race 7, the McEwen Stakes. I was over this horse like a rash. Barrakill.
Rash.
Now, this thing absolutely brained him. So,
Spanked him.
now, if there's a blowout, because it will be a double-figure chance, and if he makes the field, War Machine in a Golden Eagle potentially might interest me. But he's beaten a Group 1 winner, Mornington Glory, by 3 lengths here. Now, Mornington Glory is not... He's not a 1,200-metre Group 1 horse.
No.
Now, what I will also say is a lot of the punting public, and we are going to trumpet ourselves here because we've fucking nailed it. Oscar's Fortune was the best bet of the day. Huh?
We gave it absolutely no thought whatsoever.
It's not a 1,200-metre horse.
We thought it was ludicrous.
And, but he's against this, like, a pretty average field. Sorry. I think this Barrakill has immense talent. I think he is competitive in bigger Group 1, bigger sprint races to come.
Where are the big fish for him to fry? Look, the Victim, when the podcast was going live, extra 2 was 20 to 1.
I know. And she was...
And look, she ended up starting at $6.50. That's a hell of a go.
That is a big go.
That's a hell of a go. Yeah. But the Victim also gave me the mail when I was on the podcast on Wednesday, and I said, well, the obvious danger to extra 2 at 20 to 1 is Barrakill.
Yeah.
1,
Yep.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
7 of them.
7 in a row. God.
It's-
And sharing the load. It's a fucking team sport.
Yes. And, what's that? Tick. First leg of the quaddie. Now,
This one hurt a bit.
this one did hurt because we really let the shoulders go with Royal Champion.
We both had a decent one.
Now, there was some commentary on Twitter that I saw of a prominent person saying that Royal Champion is such a good horse, but he's a fucking nutter. If he gets it together, the way that he acted in the mounting yard, if he puts it together, he'll just be so much better. Sorry, bruh. Did you actually watch it?
I cannot believe my ears and my eyes.
Because he
was fine.
He was sensational. He did not sweat at all. He was wandering around there, had a hood on. He was just looking at everyone. He looked sensational. Looked far better than, and we didn't see him in person. But looking at the footage from last time, he was fat as.
He was fat as a bus.
They had him rock hard fit. He couldn't have looked any better. Great setup for him. He went pretty quick out in front. Got run down by a pretty smart, lightly raced mare, Plenty of Ammo, who was also mentioned on this podcast, by the way. So you might be like, how are you justifying this? In the quaddie, 2 times. Twice.
In the quaddie twice.
So Plenty of Ammo. We'll yeah, all right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that's 8 of them. Now, let's... Cox Plate, right? What were your initial thoughts of how this race went?
After the fact?
Yeah.
I was absolutely blown away.
Yeah,
It was sensational. It was a pleasure to be there.
It was pretty wild.
Absolutely wild. Look, the wash-up, though, was... The facts and figures that came out of it.
Unbelievable. So, Carl Dioro, bit of a speed and like ratings type of operator. This was the fastest first 1,440 metres in Moonee Valley in 2,040 metre races. So Pride of Jenny would have led any field in the history of any race that has clocked time at the 2,040 metres at Moonee Valley by 6 lengths to the 1,440 metres.
I'd say that's pretty quick.
6 lengths. So she would have been leading any other race in history. Now, you might think, typically when we see Pride Jenny do this, right, there's a gap of 8 lengths. So it's like the true leading position is probably not that that's not that actual distance. But Prognosis was on her back pretty much the entire time.
I couldn't believe how well he jumped. I said to you, first and foremost, the yard, he looked absolutely outstanding. Credit to the Japanese, mate.
Oh, mate.
They're unbelievable.
He was ready to go. And he ran as such.
Yeah.
He
broke the track record, mate.
Mate, okay. Let's go down here. So I've got it on raw figures, right? So Winx's previous track record was 2:02.94, right? Via Sistina ran this in 2:01.07. So on raw times, that is 11.2 lengths quicker than the previous track record. That is just... This is in figures that I can't even comprehend.
Good 3 aside, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. But that's insanity.
And it just goes... I think it kind of... Via Sistina is obviously... she was just so elite. And there was chat during the week from not us, and we're not really... we're just a couple of punters that have some opinions, and we try and throw in some data if we can. But, there's some people suggesting that she doesn't like hot tempos. And it's she kind of crumbles under them. It's I think she should fucking put that to bed. But so that 11.2 is the figure, right? In terms of lengths on raw times. And this is very, approximate figures, right? 11.22 is what Via Sistina would have broken Winx's track record by. Docklands was beaten 11.1. So he's broken the track record back into 5th by those raw times.
Based on raw times.
Based on raw times. So Mr. Brightside's broken it. Broadsiding's broken it by beating 10 lengths. And Prognosis on that hot speed has broken it. He's run. He couldn't have run any better.
No.
But it's Via Sistina, he lost within 4 lengths of Equinox. What is... Via Sistina's beaten this field by 8 lengths.
She's absolutely exploded, mate.
It was immense.
She exploded. We will never see the likes of it ever again.
Yeah. So the question poised, and I think there was one drifter in our questions. They were basically wanting the breakdown of Winx versus Via Sistina. Kind of given that. But my question to you then is, does Winx beat Via Sistina?
I said this to you last night. Impossible to say. It is impossible to say, because Winx wasn't in that race, and she was. And if Huey Bowman loomed up next to Via Sistina with Winx, would she have been able to keep up with it? I have no idea. What I do know is, though, she would have had to work pretty fucking hard. She would have had to work pretty hard.
Yeah. People were saying this about Lee Grashul when she won her Cox Plate. It's I don't know if Winx would have beaten her. This was far more impressive than that.
Yeah, Winx would have beat Lee Grashul.
Yeah.
Not by much, though. Winx also only just beat Humidor.
Yeah.
And he was...
I think she was a queen, and don't get me wrong, she was immense. We love Winx.
Yeah.
She does the podcast with us every single week. You can't see her. But... she was blessed in a time where our middle distance weight for age ranks were probably the weakest they've ever been. Is that a fair statement?
Yeah. I think...
she wasn't... Sure, Ben Battle came over, but
I think...
There was no Animo running around. There was no...
I think Winx beats the vast majority of horses that have ever run in Australia.
Of course, absolutely.
Over 2,000 metres. So...
But she never had to go up against Via Sistina. She never had to go up against Lee Grashul.
No, she didn't.
Those horses were far better than Ben Battle was.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, geez, Hartnell was pretty smart.
we're rewatching her Cox Plates, and that second one where she won by, what was it, 6 lengths or something. Hartnell was, I think he brained him in the Hill Stakes by about 8 lengths. I think he went to 2,000 metre contest, might have been the Might and Power or something, won that by like 4.
Yeah.
He just kept braining these fields.
Yeah.
He started $4.
Yeah, which is against Winx, incredibly short.
But he justified it, and he got. I think the other thing as well, as I said to you, I think he went to the Melbourne Cup after that. He ran 3rd.
What a horse!
Like iron horse.
Yeah,
just so tough.
But in a roundabout way to answer your question, I just don't want to, because like it's impossible to say. What I will say is just purely based on the data, and we're not really data guys. Right, we're not really like we are interested in it, and we keep track of it and stuff. But
give a little bit of context.
Yeah, but based on all that information that we've been presented with, the horse that ran 5th broke the track record, mate, and he was beaten by 11 lengths. You've got to assume that Prognosis has had a peak run. Broadsiding clearly has had a peak run. Mr. Brightside's probably run as well as he did last year. Maybe a length worse. Let's say
maybe.
He's been beaten by 10.
Yeah.
You can't tell me that Docklands wasn't ready to go on this race.
Yeah.
Is he a miler? Yeah, probably. But he's got elite form over there. So based on that alone, you have to say that, geez, Winx would have had to work incredibly hard to beat a horse like that who's gone that well, who's just exploded.
Let's put it this way. I don't think she gets beaten by 8 lengths. If she does get beat.
No. No.
Like, that's the thing. It's like, I think Dan, and we've been talking about this, because I think Dan O'Sullivan is his day-to-day, I think there's going to be a bit of anxiety from him because he's going to go like on raw times, because in comparison to the rest of the day, like some of the data is actually mind-boggling.
It's actually insane.
Like, so I think he's going to be in a bit of a pretzel putting together that rating, but our prediction is about a 115.
Yeah, like 110 plus.
Yeah.
To put in perspective, like the most dominant performance we've seen a few now in the last few years, by the way, and we'll talk about something else we've seen in our last few times at the Valley. We've seen some dominant performances. Like, we've obviously got Winx. The one that comes to mind for me, there's two actually that come to mind for me, is Nature Strip. In the King's Stand. I think he did like a 111, 112 there. And Incentivize in the Caulfield Cup, 3 wide, no cover, did like a 109.5.
Yep.
And we were looking at this last night. Ratings-wise, with Dan O'Sullivan's ratings. So obviously, take it with a grain of salt.
Recency, Antino was about a 107, 108.
Yep. 107, yeah.
Yep. And do you remember what Pride of Jenny and the Queen Elizabeth was?
Jenny's Queen Elizabeth was actually not that great. It was 105, which is phenomenal, but her all-star mile was like 107.
Yeah, okay.
So that's where she just fucking absolutely brained him.
Yep, okay.
This was the perfect storm, mate. This was the perfect storm. You had Jenny giving the pace, Prognosis stalking it. Like, she slingshotted around that corner. J-Mac just must have felt the biggest thrill with,
mate.
Shit, my thing is travelling.
Mate, she hit the front at the 400. Like,
he was vertical with 100 meters. She could have shaved another 1/10 of a second off that.
She could have fell over, got up, and still won. Honestly, like,
honestly, it was absolutely insane. So, drifters, how lucky are the two of us? Kissed on the penis, you might say. In the last 12 and a bit months, we've seen 3 track records at the Valley.
3 of them.
3.
They are Imperatriz in the Moya Stakes, 1,000 metres, defeating Asfura and Uncommon James. We saw Amelia's Jewel beating Pride Jenny over the mile.
Amelia's Jewel's never been the same since then, and I think that just busted her.
Yeah, and then we've seen this. How much history is at this place? Like, unbelievable. So, yeah, and we've only, how many times have we been to the Valley? 4 or 5?
4 or 5 times, yeah. Very lucky.
Very lucky. So, yeah, Prognosis run out of his skin. Broadsiding
ran out of his skin.
Ticked the good track box for me. I think he's just like,
he's so much better than every other 3-year-old. Like, so much better.
Yeah, he is. I think he would be more competitive with the cutout.
I think so.
Yeah.
He wasn't winning that race, irrespective.
And it's like, similar profile to, not profile, but like similar, I guess, conditions for Mr. Brightside. He likes it with a bit of cutout, and he's beaten him home by half a length. So the horse that we were severely against, as said, would run last, evaporate.
We did say that.
Ran last by 18 lengths.
And look, your boy had the first 4. Yeah, were they all favoured in the market? Yeah, they were. But there was one significant omission.
Pride Jenny. Wow.
Pride of Jenny.
She was busted up, I think, because she looked pretty plain in the yard.
She looked very plain in the yard, and I reckon if you were on and you knew what you were looking at and you're in the yard, you would have been very concerned.
Honestly, the best 2 horses in terms of looks from the yard ran 1-2.
Yep.
I thought Prognosis was the best, but Via Sistina was dappled up within an inch of her life.
Yeah.
And she looked super.
She's a big mare.
Yeah.
Big mare.
Yeah, she is. So Jenny's like more thick.
Yeah.
She's got girth, whereas like Via Sistina is like a bit more leggy, but she's got some muscle behind her.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's Via Sistina in our quaddie 9. Now we get to the last. Now, Firestorm was our best bet of the day. As I said to you, though, $360 was the price on Wednesday, which at that price, I was way more confident at that price than when she came into $250. $250, I was like, oh, that's short. That is so short. I'm losing more confidence here. So I was looking at some things ferociously because I had about a spare fucking 3 hours on Friday to really navigate through the form for this race. And I thought Lady Jones and the runner-up, I wanted them as insurance for our quaddie, for ours and our punt clubs. So I lobbed Lady Jones in there.
And Leevor?
Yeah, well, in ours, and I was secretly hoping that it would get re-roll Lady Jones. Sorry, boys.
30-1.
Yeah, because that payout for that quaddie was way more. But Lady Jones was still a great result. And at 14-1, nabbed the trifecta as well, paying, I think, $1,800, so, or $1,200 or something. So
WGD Giant McNeil finally gets a winner. Firestorm had too much to do. If you look at this race,
yeah,
at the 800-metre mark and the 400-metre mark, a lot of the things that finished...
Yeah.
You know, the first 2, Lady Jones was second with 400 metres to go, and Leevor was first. And Firestorms had to rattle home from 9th. Not your best Frosty, to go down by only 1.5 lengths. To be honest,
she also had she was galloped on, and I think there was some issues with her legs as well.
Okay.
So she's run pretty well.
Yeah.
There's an excuse there. So yeah, 10. But getting back to the raw times, right? And this is something that people would be pretty fascinated in. So, 4 2,040 metre races on the day. Future History, Red Aces, Via Sistina, and Lady Jones. So, Via Sistina would have beaten home Future History by 33.5 lengths on raw times. She would have beaten home Red Aces by 37, nearly 38 lengths on raw times. And she would have beaten home Lady Jones by 22 lengths. Like,
that's different stratosphere stuff.
Like, I haven't seen a discrepancy like this, like, ever. So it's pretty wild.
Going back to the Cox Plate just quickly for the tipping comp drifters, there was a spread. But the ones that were in the market were favoured. So the best backed was actually Prognosis, but not by much. You had Pride of Jenny broadsiding, very similar. Then Via Sistina, then Mr. Brightside. So, yeah, 16% were with the winner Via Sistina. But, you know, the drifters were pretty close apart from Pride of Jenny.
Other key race. Oh, sensational day. And the other one I just wanted to kind of highlight was Barrakiel as well, because he smashed the clock too. So, improving track throughout the day, of course. So, you know, he was the last 1,200 metre race on the day, but he's still run. He would have beaten Bitter Creek by 8 lengths on raw times, and he would have beaten Certain Rise by 7.5 lengths on raw times. So I think he's a up-and-coming Group 1 class gelding, I reckon.
Yeah, I think... who's he with? Who trains Barrakiel? Is it
Corstons. They trained a double. So they had
good on 'em.
Bitter Creek and Barrack Hill. So a small stable like that to get a
Huge
double
day.
on Cox Plate Day, I feel so good for him, especially for this horse. 6-year-old gelding won his first race in May.
Yeah.
And he's won what, 5 or 6 from 7 now?
6 from 8.
Unbelievable.
And well done to the owners for sticking fat. Obviously, those silks are the Southport Tycoon silks. So typically, their ownership groups are syndicates with battlers like us. So yeah, it would have been such a buzz. I'm stoked for them, and yeah, what a win. A race like the handicap sort of sprint races.
Well,
a new market, an Oakley Plate or something like that. You aim him at that because you'll get in with a pretty lightweight, and then if you can graduate, he can graduate. Awesome.
Yeah, and I hope, I don't know, Champions Sprint is the obvious one over the coming weeks. They might just like if the nominations come up really thin, they might just chuck him in there. And I think, if the Everest fields are kind of avoiding that, I think he's well within his rights of being in the conversation.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, yeah. Moonee Valley, hell of a day. Got my pin on, which, I love getting the pins from like Melbourne Cup Week and that sort of thing.
And a big thanks to the good people at Neds.
Yeah, I would say so. All right, Leo, that's enough, brah. Okay, so at Randwick, there's not too much to talk to here, I don't think. Like the Brown... Sorry, Drifters. Leo's just, just doing his best work. Lindemann was a nice return, I thought. Magic Man, that polish. Raced off the speed.
Yes.
I think Democracy Manifest was very unlucky, though.
He was. Got very close. Faulkner Park. Don't know what's going on with that horse. He ran okay.
Yeah. I think he needs 2,000 plus.
But if you look at his last prep where he polished off the Q22, he was 5 or 6 runs in. Maybe he just takes a while to get going. Faulkner Park needs some distance in his legs.
Yeah. Now the spring champion, you were all over El Costello. Well done. Market loved him too. $3.
Yeah, Market loved him, and you know what? On the podcast, I think I literally said, El Costello, Henleen, and Swift Falcon are the ones, clearly. They were the top 3 in the market. The reason I went El Costello over Swift Falcon was I knew where they'd be in the running. So you just lean to the one that's going to have a more positive ride. So, yeah, he's a little smarty. Again, by Castelvecchio, El Costello. Anthony Cummings said he would take him to the Derby. Is the winner of the Derby coming out of the Spring Champion race, or is it coming out of the Vars? Not sure.
Yeah, I don't know.
Not sure.
I
Would have loved to have seen firm agreement in Melbourne just so I could tie the form together.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's really hard to say. I think it's one of the most open derbies in a long time.
Yeah.
It gives me Johnny Get Angry vibes. I think it's just something that's just going to run it out.
Yeah.
But there's no really short favourite like Young Werther was.
Riff Rocket.
Yeah.
Sharp and Smart was pretty short. He was maybe $3, $4.
Yeah. I think he might have got into about 250.
Yeah, Market loved him.
Yeah, so
just floated in front.
So we'll see. Swift Falcon, I saw in the jockey comments. Apparently, this thing doesn't run out 2,000 metres, according to Jay Ford. Now, I'm shocked because the way he finished off 1,800 looks like this trip would be no issue.
I thought it was a bit interesting though. He's by Exceedance. We know about Exceedance. I did look at that as well. I'm not saying it influenced my decision, but I just thought it was interesting. And sometimes we were talking about it before, like Fastnet Rock produces staying times. So I didn't read into it too much. The sire of his dam's Northern Meteor. Northern Meteor signed Zoostar, side Zoostar. So, that might be right. But yeah, from what we saw, the previous race ran out at 1,800 metres pretty strong.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Yeah, so I think the first two are kind of your number 1, number 2 seeds for a Victoria Derby if they head there. The issue with, we joke about penises all the time, but Henleen is just, he gets hot under the collar. He's very cultish.
Clearly talented.
Yeah, very talented. And he might go, and he kind of loomed up like he was going to win this race pretty easy. And I think he had a bit of a think about it. But week back up is probably in this in this colt's best interest. And I think Melbourne way of going, he showed a really superior turn of foot at the Valley when we saw him in real life.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So I think he might potentially be my horse.
Yeah, potentially.
Flemington will probably be to his liking.
Yeah. Look, tipping comp drifters. Yeah, mostly with Swift Falcon, then El Costello, then Henley. So pretty much nailed it.
Okay. Now, neither of us found Belclair, but I think she's a 2-time Group 1 winning mare in New Zealand. She just found the front, barrier 2, on what could have been described as a bit of a leaderish day at Randwick on good forward track. Thought Magic Time ran well, just maybe hit a bit of a flat spot. Macarena was good. Alencia, beaten 3 lengths second up. Who would have thought? Far harder race here. Yeah. Any strong thoughts on this one?
No, I think Zugotcha needs the paddock. She'd jump and probably lead that race, but she sort of sat midfield and just didn't finish off at all. So
yeah, she's out of form.
She's out of form. She needs the paddock. Maybe she's just an autumn horse.
It's hard to say. She got nosed out by the Cox Plate winner first up in a Winx Stakes.
That is true.
Like, it's just a bit of a... And Zooey's a friend of ours, right?
Oh, God, yeah.
Like, just a bit of a fall from grace, which we don't want to see. No. So, something's clearly not right with her. 6-year-old mare, bring her back in the autumn, see how she goes. If she runs flat, then you just, get an absolute fill up from the breeders. Am I wrong?
No, you're not wrong. She's worth the mozza.
Yeah. Now, the 5 Diamonds Prelude, wasn't yellow bricked up here.
I was very keen on yellow brick. He has this in him.
He does.
Freedom Rally bounced back.
Yeah, no, you were kicking up for him a little bit. I thought Territory Express was the danger to Yellow Brick, and he's just missed. Absolutely flew home. I think that 5 Diamonds is well within that horse's grasp, which is great for a micro stable. When I talk micro, I mean like 3 horses. So, love to see that. Bjorn going back to back with just these iron horses going forward. It's a pretty good recipe, right?
What have we said? You back the Bjorn horse when it's not the favourite.
Yeah.
And here it is, $8.50.
Yep. So,
and he had the invitation winner at what? 26s.
Yeah. Osipenko fans, he was 2 out of 5 lame, so you can forgive him, but, it's Osipenko. You know what I mean? So
it's true. Like, it is so true, though. Like, I was on Osipenko again. It's like, why?
Yeah, I know.
What he hasn't shown us that he's up to this.
Yeah,
doesn't make any sense.
Grow up. Now, Godolphin in the first, they had they trained the trifecta of the 2-year-olds. 6-horse field, but still you got to do it. Comedy was impressive, but we'll see if this form stacks up. I have no idea.
No idea. Look, it's funny. You said, geez, surely Comedy's out of microphone. Because that'd be a great name. He's out of Schnitzel. Lapis Lazuli is out of microphone, though.
Yeah.
What's going on there, Godolphin?
I don't know. Yeah. So, because what else I was saying? I was suggesting that maybe the dam is potentially like birthday Godolphin horse before, because Schnitzel's
he's an Arrowfield product,
which you rarely see.
No, they don't purchase. Yeah, they don't purchase a lot.
So
one recent one they purchased by I'm Invincible was in secret.
But they do it for the mares.
Yeah.
But I
just to mix up the bloodlines a bit.
I can't really remember them having too many colts from outside of Darley.
No, because their entire operation is just to keep it in house. Which fair enough, you're good at it. Yeah. Ran third in the Cox Plate. You won it a couple of years ago with Homebreeds.
So was Exceeding Excel one of theirs?
Yeah.
Okay.
So he was a sire of Cylinder, for example.
Yeah, okay. There you go. Fascinating. There's just the more that you do, like, you kind of delve into like the details of horse racing, it just gets so much more interesting.
Oh, absolutely. Greatest sport on earth.
Yeah. Now, should we have a look forward to Derby Day? Because
I'm so keen. Because after the smorgasbord we were served up yesterday, it was the minimum we deserved. It was. Like, we literally said when everything was happening, particularly to you, across Friday night and Saturday morning, we literally said to each other, like, we're tipping the card, surely.
Yeah, and we did.
And we did.
We did.
10 from 10.
Yeah. So the quaddie paid 1,800 to 1, and we had that twice. Obviously didn't have the full clip, but we had enough.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Look, do I have any of that left in my back skyrocket after getting absolutely rinsed by Derek at the Crown Casino? No, I don't.
No.
I don't.
No.
But
No.
if you're going to go down, you got to go down fighting.
The punt giveth and the punt taketh.
The punt Philip uppeth.
You know what we might do on
Punt
Wednesday?
draineth.
Just to kind of kick things off. Something that I think would be a bit of fun, and we might actually put it up on the Instagram for you to answer as well, is like, what would you name this horse? So we pick a dam and then we pick like a sire.
That's a really good idea.
Yeah.
That's a really good idea.
All right. Now, the Coolmore Stud Stakes for Derby Day. Coolmore Stud. I'm assuming Growing Empire, 320. Interesting. Traffic Warden at 4s. Switzerland at 5s. First Settler at 9s. Bellatrix Star at 11s. We tipped her out at about 16s about a month ago, I reckon. Stormboy at 11s. Lady of Camelot at 12s could be the value. Then you go Coleman at 15s, 18s for Gatsby, Perspiration 19s, Angel Capital at 21s, and longer the rest.
Yes, fascinating race. The Coolmore Stud. I think Bellatrix Star and I think Lady of Camelot are the ones at odds. I can't believe that Lady of Camelot is $12, particularly in comparison to like Coleman, who's 15s. Like, Coleman ain't running fourth in an Everest. She ran super.
And she's confirmed of going to the Coolmore. Like, you know, where if you're taking 320 for Growing Empire, where, I don't know, I haven't seen it confirmed. Like, that is...
No, it's not confirmed.
That is absolute sickness.
I don't think they need to take him there because he's run second. He's run second in a Manikato, beaten Lip, and he's run super in an Everest. He's done enough to pretty much lock in his stud career with Yulong, right? Like, realistically, he's by Zoo Star, so he's got elite bloodlines. I think he will get a Group 1 eventually, whether he does it as a 3-year-old or as a 4-year-old. They don't need to take him here, I don't think. But the next two in the market, Traffic Warden and Switzerland, easily the ones to beat for me. I think Traffic Warden, he'll get revenge. I can just see him exploding. Didn't get to see it in the Everest.
No. And my logic is, right, and it's going to be my logic on Wednesday, if I was predicting that he'd be the fastest colt home in the Everest as a 3, and there was, 3 or 4 3-year-olds there, when he's against his own age group, how could I possibly change my train of thought?
No, don't.
So
don't change your train of thought. No. That'd be silly.
And what I'll probably do to hedge my bets a little, if it's not his day, I'll have him in some Cornellas. And I'll chuck other things in the quadrella.
And they'll be on his Ned's profile.
Yeah. Now, the Victoria Derby. Ugh. El Costello 320.
That's ridiculously short.
Red Aces at 7s. Keeneland at 9s I could get interested in. King of Thunder was hitting the line nicely at Moonee Valley on Saturday at 9s. St. Emelon. Was this the thing that won the Geelong Classic?
Emilion. Yeah, the schnitzel thing.
Yeah. Ran pretty well at 10s. King of Wall Street ran second in that. No, he won the Caulfield Classic at $11. Swift Falcon at 11s, and it doesn't run out 2,000 metres apparently. China Sea at 12s. Firm Agreement at 15s. Politely Done at 15s. And then longer the rest.
Where is Henley in this market?
I'm assuming he's not. Maybe
he's going to be a late nom.
Yeah.
El Costello is incredibly short at $3.20. Yeah, might have to hunt for some value in that race, but still looking forward to it.
Now, this was a market that I kind of talked to you about, the Empire Rose. Orchestral at $4.50. A Tissue at 5s. Millie's Jewel and Plenty of Ammo at 7s. Alsafina at 10s. Fangirl at 12s, unlikely. Lake Vart, Pride of Jenny at 15s. Pride of Jenny she'll surely be going to the paddock now.
Yeah.
Gringzinger Bell, Front Runner, Flemington, Southerly Wind, potentially, maybe, would be hard to run down. And See You in Heaven at 17s. Kaimochi at 19s. She's a genuine 50-50 to go here or the Empire or the Golden Eagle. She goes here. I think she's a bet at $19.
At $19, yeah, absolutely. I'd be if Orchestral started favourite, I'd be looking to get her beat. Based on what I saw from her in the 2-rack, and what we saw of her as a 3-year-old, I'd be stretching her out over further, to be honest. And it's not like this is a particularly easy field either. I think a Tissue at $5. We know she loves Flemington. Is she going this well? As well as last year?
Yeah.
Amelia's Jewel at 7s is probably the one that has me interested.
I think they're heading to a 5 Diamonds.
Are they?
I think so. I don't know.
I thought Jamie Carr was booked in for the ride for the Empire Rose.
Oh, really?
For Amelia's Jewel, yeah.
Oh.
I think I saw that yesterday. I could be wrong.
No, okay.
I could be wrong.
No. Thank you for informing me and the drifters about that, because that's fascinating.
Yep.
Other WA mare, Elsafina.
$10, yeah.
Yeah.
Winnable race for her. What's the weather doing?
Fuck, we are telepathic, honestly.
What's the weather doing?
Melbourne weather.
Please don't be raining.
It's fine, mate.
Good.
Tops of 20s. There's a little bit of cloud around. It's going to be 25. Pardon me.
You're right.
It's going to be 25 on Saturday. I think it's going to start a good 4, being upgraded to a good 3.
Again, it is the minimum that we deserve. Looking forward to the Empire Rose. Your boy has a terrific record in that race.
Light winds becoming northerly 15 to 20 Ks throughout the day. I think a northerly wind is actually into their face. Southerly is the one that they had last year.
Yeah, so put the leaders on a travelator.
Yeah.
So this is going to suit the cover.
Yes.
You still want to be relatively close.
But you know who's actually really elite at giving this information is BZ from racing.com.
Is he?
He's the wing guy. Like, if you need to sort out how the wind's going to play, just...
We're not talking we're not talking flatulence. We're talking weather.
Yeah. He's elite. So he would be the one that I basically will be following everything that he says, because it's pretty spot on.
He's actually a really good judge too, BZ.
Absolutely. So Empire Rose is wide open to Tissue. I could get interested there. I think she's a better mare than Amelia's Jewel. Elsafina, I'll probably get sucked in. But yeah, we'll see. And then
Golden Eagle, hey?
Golden Eagle. Well, I think we need to do more form on these. I might do that today, actually. More form on these two at the top of the market. Ascoli Piccino and Lazard. So
they looks like they have some good form.
Well, one of them's a Japanese, isn't it?
Yep.
Which one?
Ascoli.
Love that.
Yeah. Local hopes, Jolly Star, yes. Tom Kitten, I think $12. Like, I think Kitty Cat Tom will run a big race. Celestial, my guy, I love you, but I think bro is looking for the paddock. With all due respect to Celestial, he's a good-looking horse. Steffi Southport, Striker, I think at 20s is a big price.
0 to 1 mil. 0 to 4 on the Friday, top of 24 on the Saturday, 0 to 1. Bit of cloud cover. I think it's a good full track on both.
I think we've picked the winner between the two of us since the Golden Eagle started, except for
Oban
Burumai, but you did talk about him.
I think I might have. Oh, I could be telling fibs. I think I had him in my numbers, maybe. Maybe. I don't know. No, I was very keen on Legato and literally, where is she now?
Yes, where is she now?
Because Amelia's Jewel ran super, and I think she had she got stepped on pretty severely.
Yep, she could have died.
Yeah. So she's a tough mare to continue.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
She is a tough mare, mate.
So, yeah. Lady Laguna, $21. She ran really well the other day.
She did.
She could be the knockout.
In the Empire Rose.
Oh, far out. I'm looking at the wrong market. Yeah, that one.
Because she'd be 5 or 6.
Well, there you go. Yeah, okay.
Interesting.
Southport Tycoon at 15s. Loyal listener and friend of the podcast, Joshua McClelland, has a 2-leg all-up. First leg was Via Sistina at $12.
Terrific shopping.
Into Southport Tycoon for the Golden Eagle. So we have something to whip home on Saturday.
Jesus. And bro needs all the cash he can get.
But he is one of the great swindlers of futures betting I've ever seen. I've never seen someone the amount of bonus bets that went on Stay Inside when he won the Golden Slipper was breathtaking.
I've said it before and I'll say it again. He's my favourite punter.
Yeah.
Because he walks to the beat of his own drum when it comes to the punt.
Yeah. Like, Stay Inside, he was a champion 2-year-old. Like, he was clearly the one, right? But like he did falter. Like he did, yeah. He came second or third in the lead up.
He was just like,
nah, this is where you get more. But the one that I could not understand was Haitotsu. 1,600 to 25. I'm like, mate, you're out of
sicko mode.
You are a fucking sicko. But the market agreed.
The market was with him.
$3, and he's one of the. He's probably for me like one of the biggest what ifs ever.
Absolutely, absolutely, because he would have continued on as a 4-year-old against Animo.
Yeah. I think he might have been better than Animo.
I think so too, mate. Yeah. But
here we are.
Tip
in the card, Moonee Valley Day. It's good stuff. Team sport, quaddie wins, hitting a rich form of quaddie, like
2 from 4.
Yeah. Which is
we're
great.
3 from 5.
Yeah, 3 from 5, mate. Come on. Which is really great to, this weekend for me was I always had my confidence, but it's like I don't think I've been more confident. I was just, how many things do I pick at double figures?
Ridiculous, mate. Look, we forgive the victim's blip last week, and he's been in some great form too.
Yeah. Cox Plate Day is really where he comes to the fore.
I think he had like 12 or 13 from 20 in the last 2 years.
Come on,
bruh.
Come on, man.
Mate, all I'm saying is 8 out of 10 last year. Cards used to be 8.
Yeah.
Not 10. So it's within my grasp.
It is. It really is.
It's within the victim's grasp when I follow his tips.
Yeah.
It's within my grasp.
Yeah.
It is, honestly, I'm not one of those people who has a life goal. I don't have life goals. I'm not one of those people who's like, I will climb Mount Everest one day. That's not how I operate. I'm a real like, what's the next day going to bring? Live in the moment type operator. Mm-hmm. I have one life goal. I have one life goal. I will tip the card on a big day.
Yeah.
Like, this is why I think I gravitate towards Mick Sharkey. We're kindred spirits in that way. Mm. He's confident every time he's going to pick the card. Yeah. And that's why losing the first race for me hurts the most. Because it means I can't tip the card.
Well, there's always next week.
There is always next week.
I guess I'll go 9 from 10. But team sport. If between two of you find 10 winners, some quaddies, you've tipped the card. I don't care what anyone says.
Yeah, fuck you, drifters.
Yeah. That was unnecessary.
I love you guys.
Yeah. Thank you for listening. Thank you for engaging. Thank you for entering the tipping competition. We're getting to the pointy end of that.
2 more weeks.
Both moving days in some way. So plenty of opportunity, I think. We've set out like Bellatrix Star, Lady of Camelot. I think they're the ones at double figures that you could potentially get some ground back in. And the Empire Rose is wide open. The Victoria Derby is wide open. So this next week...
The Golden Eagle, you could find some value.
It's going to be... If you get 4 at double figure odds, you've won the competition. Get your tips in. Continue listening to us. We've seen the listens, as we kind of said in the preview, absolutely skyrocket. Thank you for the support. How good's horse racing?
Best sport on earth.
All right, we'll see you Wednesday.
See yous.